Welcome to the Run Out. I am Neil Barrett. He is Brandon Hooten. We have so much going on after a week off last week, I guess is how we'll say it. The Atlas dragged their season back from the dead on Long Island. Dylan Molloy turned in maybe the best performance of his career, and the Cannons just cut a 2-time All-Pro. But before we get into any of that, as always, Brandon, how we doing, man?
Doing well, just busy. Summer really picked up. Month of June, I should say, really picked up. So it's been good, but just lots of stuff literally every day that I'm not working my day job. So, yeah, that's about it.
Champagne problems, I believe is what they call that.
I suppose.
The largest tournament in the world is on right now. Have you seen even a single second of it?
What tournament is that? Is that the
I know you know what it is. I know you know.
Have I seen a second? Yes, I've seen a second. Maybe two.
How many seconds would you say you have seen if you were just giving an estimate?
I don't know. I watched like the last 15 minutes of that USA game a couple days ago. Not the last 15, I should say, but I watched 15 in there, roughly. Maybe
15
10?
Minutes.
Maybe
okay.
5. I don't know. It was a few minutes though. I was counting how many people were falling down.
It was like 30 seconds. He just felt like it was 15
No, it was minutes. It was minutes. I watched some of that one.
Okay.
Actually, that's it. Yeah, that's all I've seen, a couple of the highlights and such, but I haven't tuned in. I'm watching more of the content surrounding the cup as opposed to the cup itself.
Yeah. There has been some great content, so I can't blame you for that. Speaking of content around the cup, since we last spoke, the Carolina Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup. So, pretty great content there. Obviously, I know you're not really a fan. You don't really care, but I care. It was
I care
amazing
because they beat Vegas.
Wow, that's fair.
Everyone in America except for Nevada was a Hurricanes fan for about a week.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, no, it was good. Like I said, the only thing we did talk about the last episode we did was when I said I hope they lose one so that they could win it at home. They did not lose one; they lost two. They did not win it at home, which was kind of obnoxious. But really annoyingly, I had to work on Saturday. My friend was trying to get me to call in sick so we could go to the parade. She ended up going to the parade, and I was at work.
They did the parade on a Saturday?
They did the parade. Was it Saturday or Sunday? They did the parade on the weekend. For some reason, I feel like it was Sunday, but it might have been Saturday. But also, all of my days are blending together because I've been working for like 15 days straight. So we
had ours on like a Tuesday or like a Wednesday or something. It was like, sorry, everyone has to take the day off to go to this parade.
Yeah, no, maybe it was Saturday, but yeah, it was definitely on the weekend. But
that's
also,
nice.
I think they won the cup. What, Monday or Tuesday night?
Yeah, something like that.
And then they stayed in Vegas for like a full 24 hours or something. They didn't even get back till like Wednesday or Thursday. So like, yeah, by the time I was really ready to go, like it was the weekend anyway. So it might have just been that was the timing, or maybe they intentionally thought about it and they did it. That'd be cool. I wouldn't complain about that. But the U.S. plays back to the World Cup. Sorry, scatterbrained here. Thursday afternoon. You gonna watch?
Nope.
To be fair, there's nothing to watch for in this game because we've already qualified and won the group. So
see,
they'll
I
probably
knew
lose
that.
some players.
That's not why I'm not watching, but I knew that.
That's not why I'm not watching. You didn't have to say that. It was unnecessary.
Everyone knows why I'm not watching. It's fine. There's tons of people out there that enjoy it, and that's great. I hope they're having a grand time. I still hope we win. I don't want us to lose by any means, but good for Messi. Saw he has a bunch of goals or something like that in the World Cup all time or something. So I know that's good.
I love when you just try.
That's true.
That's
Is
my
it not?
favorite part.
Did he not have 18 World Cup goals or something like that?
I don't actually know what the number is. I know he set the men's record. Last I knew, Marta still had the overall record, but that may have changed. That might have been because he scored 2 the other day, and it might have been after the first one that he set the record, and then the second one would have probably tied him with Marta or something. So
yeah,
I'm
because
not
he
sure.
also missed a PK. I know that.
He did miss a PK. That's true.
First one in a while.
Yeah, well, you miss some here and there.
Soccer ball knowledge.
Despite what Jake Malasek thinks, you do.
What do you mean? He didn't miss at all. He didn't miss at all. I saw the video. He made all of them.
Okay. All right. On that note, let's talk about some actual lacrosse. The PLL was in Long Island this week for the New York Atlas homecoming. They did go 2-0. They started with their first game, saw them beat the Boston Cannons 12-11. Atlas trailed for more than 44 minutes in this game before Brian Costabile's 2-pointer gave them an 11-10 lead with 3 minutes and 25 seconds left. This game was kind of stupid. Honestly, watching this game for 44 minutes, all I could think was, yep, these are the 2 worst teams in the league. They both look terrible.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I picked Atlas, so it was very stressful trying to, root for them to kind of come back there. There was definitely a point where I was just like, there's no shot, because I pretty much always split the vote on homecoming weekend that you're going to win one and lose one. And almost every time that I picked the home team to win game 1, lose game 2, they switch, and now I have 2 losses on the record, and it looks awful. So I was just like, thank you, Brian Costabile, for coming through. But Mick Kelly, that man's been a staple on my fantasy team a couple weeks now. He's been incredible. Holman had a good game, a couple other cool performances, but it's just, you gotta wonder what would happen if they had Asher Nolting.
Look, I didn't say it. It wasn't me.
It's not that anyone else is bad on their team, but it's just what a bizarre situation overall. And it's no shade to Brian Kelly or anyone else that they're having play attack right now, but it's just weird. McMeekin was awesome at the dot. I wanted to shout him out because I know this is his second game, I want to say.
I think that's right, yeah.
I think so. There was something else. Oh, Liam Entenmann was great too. 60%, 17 saves.
Yeah.
So
yeah, obviously Liam Entenmann was great, but also the Cannons outshot the Atlas 52-27. They doubled them up on shots and lost the game. And of course, Liam Entenmann is a decent part of that, but also a lot of it was just missing shots. He only made 17 saves and he only scored 11 goals. So that puts you at 28 shots were on target. They forced a save or went in the goal out of 52.
Yeah. The Atlas turned the ball over 24 times.
Yeah. Right.
That's 6 times a quarter.
The Atlas looked terrible in this game. And the Cannons couldn't beat them.
Yeah, it's just weird because they had better, more time of possession, more shots on goal, more shots overall, less turnovers by a wide margin,
by a
But
wide
they
margin.
got to figure out their assist game. Like, you have 11 goals and only 3 of them are assisted. And it's funny because the dude they just cut today, like, is an assist guy.
If only they had a player on their roster
Like-
that was known for making assists.
And the thing is, I understand, like, people's, reasoning about, okay, maybe he's out of shape or whatever, but, like, the part that your team's missing, that's literally what he does. So unless you have someone else that can come in and do that consistently, like we talked about, Brian Kelly had a great debut, but then once people had tape on him, he had 1 point in this game.
Yeah, he's got 1 point in the last 2 games.
And again, that's not picking on him specifically, but it's just, you have a guy who, like, correct me if I'm wrong, was Asher Nolting not in MVP talks a year ago? Or was that 2 years ago, whenever that was? Like, it just feels very strange now to watch this game and be like, hey, they're clearly missing someone like him, and then a day later they're like, yeah, we're releasing him.
Yeah, in the last 3 seasons, I think he's been an MVP finalist and an Attackman of the Year finalist twice. Like, and, not for nothing, the one game we saw him, he had 2 points. I get that's not an amazing stat line, but it's not like he was doing nothing, especially when you look at his direct replacement in the last 2 games has 1 point. Like, if we're dropping people for a 2-point performance, then Brian Kelly better be out of the league. I'm not saying he should be, obviously, like, that's not the thing, but like,
guys at that rate.
Right. It's just like, I don't understand what we're doing. And so what I said to you, well, in several group chats that I know you're in, is like, this feels to me like it's not based on performance. Like, there's some other issue here. I don't know what it is, but it's not based on the on-the-field performance. It reminds me a lot of that 2020 season where Connor Fields had been an MVP candidate in 2019, and in 2020, him and Andy Towers had some kind of falling out or whatever it was that went on with them, and Connor Fields sat the bench the whole bubble tournament for no reason. It had nothing to do with his play or his ability. They just flat didn't like each other, and he sat on the bench the whole season, and then they traded him in the offseason, and he went to... Is that when he went to the Archers? I feel like there was a team in between.
He's only played for those 2 teams, right?
Is it just those 2? Okay. I feel like there's a team in between.
If someone knows better, could be wrong, but I think it is just them.
Yeah, I don't know who it would be if there was another team, but yeah, it feels like that level of thing where whatever the issue is, it ain't about point production or whatever. Now, similar again to that Connor Fields issue, Andy Towers kind of simultaneously was also trying to change the way that his team played and was adapting to more of that Canadian box lacrosse style that they got to, which is ironic to me because Connor Fields is an NLL MVP. Like, who's playing the NLL box style better than him? But for whatever reason, they didn't think that Connor Fields would fit into that system as well, and so it wasn't just whatever happened between the two of them. There were other things, but the same sort of thing feels like it's happened here, where maybe Boston's trying to change a little bit of the way that they're playing at the same time that it feels like there's some other kind of issue, and it's just making it easy. And then lots of people are going to say, oh, well, the report came out today that Boston had been shopping him around. They'd been trying to trade him. Nobody wanted to trade him. And then nobody wanted to pick him up off of waivers. And like I said to you in our group chat today, I wouldn't have done either of those either. Why? Why would I? You're actively shopping a player. You clearly don't want him.
Yep.
And I don't necessarily need him. Not that he isn't better than an option that I have or whatever, but I don't necessarily need him. So I don't need to trade for him. I can let you exhaust your trade options, then put him up on waivers and let him get through his waivers, and then I can just grab him for free. Now, I told you guys, I told you and Michael Harrison, I think last week or the week before, I expect that he's going to not be claimed, and he's going to sit. It's going to be another 3 weeks probably before somebody picks him up. It's going to take, I think, somebody getting into a position where they're like, oh crap, we need to change things. And part of what we were talking about earlier, I think, will come into play about this start-stop schedule that we've been playing. And, you know, your Outlaws won't have played for a month by the time they take the field this weekend. I don't think even now a lot of teams know what they do or don't have. And so I think it's going to take another 2 or 3 weeks for some teams to start feeling like they understand their team and what they need to do to change and stuff. Again, coming into this weekend, did we think Atlas looked good at all? And like we just talked about, they didn't particularly look good against Boston either, but they won the game without Jeff Teat, without Trevor Baptiste, without Danny Logan. You know, they went 2-0 without those three guys. You know, it finally feels like maybe Connor Schellenberger is starting to figure out what he needs to do for this team. They are absolutely at their best when he is the one attacking the goal, and they're starting to figure it out. So yeah, in another 2 or 3 weeks, maybe they'll have a better hold on things. I don't know.
Yeah, seems like too many teams right now are just unclear on their identity. Not even just who they have. It just seems like there's too many teams trying new things that, I mean, Boston seems to be one. Utah seems to be another. It's just one of those things. And that's why I hope we're not looking at a milkman situation where Asher's just like sitting out for ever. And then magically one day someone's like, oh, we'll give you a shot. Like, because I do think Asher has a place in the league. But it's just one of those things that I'm just like, I was watching this game like, seriously, like, yeah. But I'm not a head coach. I'm not a GM. This
game was
like,
clear.
You know, and maybe this is just one of those like anomalies where it's like I'm already focusing on it and thinking about it, so I notice it. But
yeah,
you start thinking back and you're like, oh, they're how much? Oh, they're 1-4.
Right.
Oh, they're -5 score differential, so they're not scoring the ball well enough. All of a sudden you start thinking, maybe you could use... And then, like I brought up in the chat, it makes you think all the way back to that trade they made when they dealt Pat Cav because, we don't have spot for Pat Cav at attack. 1 year that lasted.
Yeah,
until
I was
going to
say, and like I told you, I got no issue with you saying, hey, this dude that's an MVP candidate and an Attackman of the Year candidate and everything, he is more entrenched than this rookie that we watched for a year not do much of anything. I got no problem with that. But making that decision and then a year later you're cutting that guy?
Yeah.
While Pat Cav went on to have an MVP year, MVP finalist year in Denver, and in the little bit of time that we have gotten to see him this year, looks great again. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it feels very much like very reactionary. Like,
yeah, yep.
Oh no, well he's not playing, so we're just gonna release him. Like what? I mean, Ty Kurtz took a year off from the PLL, came back, and has been in and out of that Boston lineup, and he saw the field this weekend. Yeah, but Asher can't.
Yeah,
I love Ty Kurtz. This is not a slight to Ty Kurtz.
Yeah,
it's an MVP finalist. Like I can go on for days, but it just is so strange. Like, it's, the stuff with like Rambo, I completely understood. This is someone who I think we all agree is, at least in this stage of their careers, is a step above Rambo. So what are we doing now that's like, and again, it's not like he was a bad player last year. If he was really bad, if you came into camp and you said, Asher, we're giving you 2 games, we're giving you 3 games, that's it. But to give him 1 game with 2 points,
yeah,
and then you lose to a team that's already struggling.
And yes, exactly that. You lose to teams that are bad. You are 1-4. the things that you have tried to implement aren't working. And yes, it's been what, 5 games for them. It's been start and stop. It's been a super choppy season. But like you said, Ty Kurtz was in, Matt Rambo has gotten other opportunities, the Milkman's back, and yet we have this dude who again has been an MVP caliber player the last 3 seasons, and the thought is never like, oh, we should maybe see if he could help this team out. Correct me, who did they play in that game that Asher played? Do you know off the top of your head?
No, but we can find out.
Because I feel like it was someone that in the moment we maybe thought was not a great loss, but now maybe it doesn't look as bad.
They played Carolina. They lost 14-10, and then they killed the Water Dogs 19-5 without Asher.
Right.
Because they played week 2, and that was their first.
Right, and that's their one win this season.
Yeah. But and what's funny about that is like, so Coulter Mackesy had a great game that game, 6 points. But then
Brian Kelly had a good game.
Trainer had 3. Brian Kelly didn't play this game. Trainer had 3 points, but then Asher had 2, and Marcus Holman had 2.
Then, the first game. Gotcha.
Then they say he's injured, and credit to the guys over. I think is it Over the Head podcast or something along those lines.
Yeah, Over the Head.
I think they even said like their next episode, that's a benching. He's like, and all of us were like, no, there's no way. Like, it's Asher Nolting. And now you look back and you're like, now wait a minute, it really might have been, which again, like, but yeah, that second game was when Brian Kelly had 5 points, and that's when Marcus had 6 points. Yeah. Matt Campbell got in the mix with 4, and that was a game where like literally everybody contributed. But that is an anomaly that has not happened since. It didn't happen their first game. It's easy if you watch that one game to be like, well, they don't need him because they put up 19. But like, that's not happening every single week, and it's just, to me, it's like back-to-back years of just really bad Cannons lacrosse, and back-to-back years. I think you look at their roster and you expect them to have 2 or 3 wins at this point, and they're at 1.
Yeah, they are worse than the sum of their parts, and they're cutting MVP caliber players. Like, it just doesn't.
But hey,
make any sense.
Maybe it works out in the end. I don't know.
Well, and one thing you said earlier about the 1-4 thing, and I was like, yeah, it's one thing when you're the Atlas and you cut Miles Jones, even though he had 5 points in his first 2 games from the midfield. And then you just go on a run and you win everything. And it's like, well, I mean, you can't argue with the results. Even though it felt a little weird to cut a guy who was performing for you, you can't argue with the results. But now you've cut a guy who was performing for you amongst the highest in the league, and it's not working. Like, whatever. So,
and you have to go play the 3-1 Redwoods next week.
Yeah. Speaking of the Redwoods, that's a good transition into the second game of the weekend that saw the California Redwoods beat the Utah Archers 16-14 in what will now and forever be known as the Dylan Molloy game, as he scored 7 goals in this one to tie the PLL single game goal record. I believe that's back-to-back weeks we saw that happen now, because Mac O'Keefe was the previous week, right? Yeah. So
hard to remember with the bye weeks and such, but yeah, it's. I mean,
I know.
Twice in 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. Incredible. I wanted to ask you. Brett Dobson said that Malloy is the closest thing to John Grant Jr. we've seen since John Grant Jr. retired. It's not the comparison of how great Junior was to me. I just don't see Dylan Molloy as a John Grant Jr.-esque player.
Honestly, I think Dauber just meant like size-wise and the locations that the shots are coming from potentially, and just like the randomness to it, especially in a game like this where he had 7 goals and it just felt like anything he threw on target was going in.
which is Dauber's job to stop.
It was probably one of those just like overreactions of just like, dude, I couldn't do anything. That was like John Grant Jr.
Yeah.
And, again, you watch this one game, maybe it's hard to argue that, but I did think that was funny when I saw that trivia pop up today, and I was just like, he said who? Who? Okay. I mean, hey, if Dauber's saying that, one of the best goalies in the world, okay.
What's funny is I didn't actually see the quote until after I answered the trivia game, and I read that list, and I was like, okay, Dylan Molloy's big. He just put up a bunch of points, and Brett Dobson's Canadian. Which one of these answers do I think he said? And I was like, he said junior. And of course I was right. But that was part of the reason why I was like, I don't know. It feels cliche in the wrong ways. Like it's literally like, oh, he's a big dude who uses his body, and he had a game in which he basically couldn't stop scoring. At least until he hit 7. Once he hit 7, I was like, dude, hit 8, and he just couldn't.
Yeah.
But I was like, I just don't see Dylan Molloy as a John Grant Jr. Now maybe I didn't watch enough John Grant Jr. Maybe that's on me. But I was watching Dylan Molloy, and I was like, I don't see a junior, and a junior to me always had a level of like slickness and stick skill, whereas Dylan Molloy just feels a little bit more like dogged determination of like, you're not going to stop me. I'm going to get, you know what I really thought when I was thinking about this? I was like, I don't see Junior. I see Matt Rambo. I see like 2019 Matt Rambo, just like, I am going to get to my spots, and you're not going to be able to stop me. And when I get to my spots, I'm going to hit shots. Like that was what I see out of Dylan Molloy. So
there were times that Warren Jeffrey was draped all over him, and there was a couple times that you saw Jeffrey look back at Dauber, and I just knew they were like, "There's nothing we can do." Like it's
right. Like what am I supposed to do? That's
another fatality though of had him in my fantasy lineup and took him out. So it's literally horrendous. I don't know what to do, man. And you know what makes it worse is I had Mikey Bayman there. Nice little 1 point performance from him. So that was awesome.
I'm gonna have to remember. I pulled 2 guys out. I can't remember who it was. Oh, one was Chris Kavanaugh. I pulled Chris Kavanaugh out. And I was like, great, fantastic. I still ended up with Schellenberger. Oh, and then I think I changed my goalie. I don't know. I had like 2 guys who hit like 45 or something, and then I had 4 guys who had less than 10, and I was like, "Are you kidding me, dude?"
Well, this week was tough because there's only the 3 games, and so I was trying to like think about, and I was looking at Dylan Molloy, and I was like, "Oh, he had 30 points last time they played Utah," and then later in the week I was like, "They're probably going to make adjustments. There's no way that happens again." Like that was literally my exact thought process. So I was like, "I'm taking him out. I think Mikey Bayman will get more opportunities this week." Like I feel good about it. I put Bayman in
because I had the same thought.
At one point, I was like, can I squeeze Chris Cav in the lineup? But I just couldn't get the coins right. And then I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'm not going to overthink this week, is what I said. And then I was watching the game, and I was just like, oh, there's another one? And another. Oh, and another. And then I was playing someone who had Chris Kavanaugh, and he hit the 2-pointer, and I was just like, this is literally horrendous. Like,
you know what's funny? I think I did the exact same thing. I had Chris Kavanaugh in, and I took him out and put Mikey Bayman in because I thought, Bame's going to get some good opportunities, and I needed the coins to... Yeah. I think it was when... I think because I had Trevor Baptiste, and so I think when he went down with the injury, it was like, oh, I've got to get someone else. And so I needed the coins to, like, get another good face-off guy, or it was something like that. And then, I was doing the same thing every time Chris Kavanaugh was hitting something, and then he hit that too, and I was like, are you kidding me? And I think Mikey Bayman ended up with, like, 9 or 10 or 11, but at the time that Chris Kavanaugh hit that 2, he had -2 points, and I was like, dude, are you kidding me right now?
He finished with 7 points because he had a turnover and he had an assist, and I was just like, oh. And like this is how bad it was. At one point I had Jared Connors and Mikey Bayman who both had negative points, and I was just like, how do I pick all the Redwoods that are having bad games? I don't understand.
You know what's Jared
so
funny
got back to 0, but
I've played that the PLL fantasy. I think like the first few weeks that it existed, like 2 years ago or whenever that was, and then I've never played it ever again. And then because of the helmet hunt, I just like set it up. I've been doing the AI setup, with just the auto generate, just because like you, I don't like to think about it. I don't want to. I'm going to second guess myself. I'm going to constantly say, and then I'm going to feel like crap about it. But then this week, because I had to make a few adjustments because there were injured players, I overthought it and got too
It's
cute.
Impossible. I don't know how people do it and are good at it. Fantasy football, I'm pretty decent at. Fantasy lacrosse, I am not your guy. In fact, you should pick everyone I don't pick because you will beat me. That's basically what it is.
I have a theory that fantasy sports in general operates on a bell curve, where like you need to know enough to know who some of the good players are. You need to kind of absorb some things and be like, okay, I've heard of this guy. He would be a really good guy to have on my team, but you start to learn too much and you start overthinking everything. And so there's like this sweet spot where you're just dumb enough to not overthink things, but smart enough to like get the right players. Like it's such a goofy thing.
That's a great way of explaining it. It's awful.
Oh man. So let's move on to the third and final PLL game of the weekend that saw the Atlas come back from 6-0 down in a 10-3 second quarter deficit to was that the halftime score? Was it
10-3 at halftime?
Oh, 10-6. Okay, so just 10-3 at halftime to win 16-14. That's right, Connor Schellenberger, right?
He does play for the Atlas, yes.
No, I was thinking, I was like, wait, is Connor his first name? I wrote down was Schellenberger. Normally I would write Shelley. I don't know why I wrote his full name out. And I was like, wait, Connor doesn't sound right to me for some reason. Anyway, Shelley went for 3 goals and 3 assists. Great game from him. Matt Rambo didn't do a whole lot, but did score a goal against his former team.
2 of them.
And yes, I was going to say, and added the goal that made it 15-13 and kind of like put it out of reach for them. I'll ask you, which of these 2 teams did this game say more about to you?
Probably New York. Just, you're down by 7 and you kind of got to dig in. I think it's sort of a trapped game for Maryland, just with the hype they've had in the season they've had so far. And they did get a Superman-like performance from Shelley as well. I don't know. I didn't get to watch too much of this game. I was pretty busy Saturday, so I was kind of checking in and out. So I didn't even know they were down 10-3 until after the game. And then I started seeing the post about it, and I was like, oh, wow, this was actually kind of monumental. I think it says a lot about Rob Pennell, that he still got it. 6 points. Good to see.
Listen, I've been saying Rob Pennell had a spot in this league.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to listen to me.
But, the Atlas were on a short day back-to-back, and not only did they come back all the way like that, but they put up 16 goals. So that's impressive.
This is part of why I would go the opposite direction, I think, in that you're up 10-7 against a team on the second game of its back-to-back 24 hours later in a game that they battled. Like, as much as that game was stinky poo-poo and sloppy and gross, and like neither of those teams looked good, it was a battle. It was a 11-12 game. Like it was a battle. They barely eked that out. And then you got outscored after being up 10-3, you got outscored 13-4 in the second half plus a little bit of the second quarter. Like that, in my mind, that's a complete collapse from the Whipsnakes. We took our foot so far off the gas, it was in the back seat, and we couldn't find the gas pedal with a map and 3 days of trying. Like, I don't understand how you lose that game.
Because the Atlas still have dudes.
I mean, you're not wrong there. I will give you that. But why was Connor Schellenberger and Matt Rambo in a position to take over this game? It was 10-3.
Look, all I'm saying is a couple weeks ago when you said, are the Whipsnakes the best team in the league? I said no for a reason.
I mean, I'll agree with you.
And that's not hating on them. I think they're prone to this type of thing. Like, not to blowing big leads. I just mean prone to, like, being talked up and then all of a sudden just complete downfall. Like, Petey LaSala had 2 points. He was tied for their third leading scorer. Petey's not even supposed to be playing these games. He's a backup.
Yeah. Well, and their 6-0 lead, all 6 of those goals were transition goals. Like, And
I mean, outside of Rob, who else was really assisting like that? Joey had 2. Brandau and Truitt had 1 each. Like, it wasn't like they were moving the ball exceptionally well, especially in the second half. I mean, you gave up 10 goals in the second half. 5
shot clock violations in the second half.
I'm sorry, this is the pro game. How are you getting that many shot clock violations?
Yeah. And again, like, that's where I'm like, you guys just completely collapsed.
Yeah.
I'm hesitant to give into recency and say that it is the biggest collapse that I've ever seen, but I'm struggling to think of a bigger collapse.
Archers versus Outlaws 3 years ago. Charlotte.
Oh, the Brennan O'Neill game.
That happened in 1 quarter.
Yeah, and was really one dude too.
That's the only reason it was one guy in 1 quarter. This at least had some some sprinkle where it was like, okay, they scored again in the third week. Maybe they, but
it was literally like, put a stick in his chest and don't let him shoot the ball, and you just kept letting him go. He'll miss one of these eventually. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
They thought they had 2026 Brennan in that game, and they did not. They had 2023 Brennan.
That's right.
Or 4, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. That one's probably bigger, but
still.
I mean,
but this is still top 5. Gotta be.
Yeah.
I feel like there might have been another one in the last couple of years, but maybe I'm forgetting. But either which way,
it all blurs together for me.
Yeah, just very, very bad. Especially, like I said, back-to-back games for Atlas. Like,
yeah,
that's tough.
Yeah, well, and listen, we want to talk about whether or not the Whipsnakes are the best team in the league, quote unquote, because that's where their record had them sitting. This weekend proved basically nothing to me about Atlas. You beat just an absolute dumpster fire of a team, and then you beat a team who had like the worst collapse ever. That being said, like we mentioned earlier, I do think Connor Schellenberger is starting to figure out what he needs to do for this team. My worry is we got to see how long Trevor's out. We got to see how long Danny Logan's out. From what I've heard, it doesn't sound like either of them are like super major injuries. Hopefully, I would think they're off this week, if I remember correctly, and then the All-Star game the next week. So hopefully that's enough time to give them some rest and they don't really miss another game. But, if Shelley is figuring out his role, Brian Costabile has been great. If Matt Traynor can get a couple more shots, and then they can get Danny Logan and Trevor Baptiste and some of these guys back healthy. Do I have them as a title favorite? No, but they're certainly going to be middle of the pack. I would think pretty easily. Even if this game wasn't super convincing for me, but, Okay. Let's move over to the WLL, where the Charging beat the Charm. Both of these teams were undefeated, and the Charging won 12-10. New York stays perfect and continues right where they were at the end of the championship series. Madison, Doucette, those New York goalies, man. Madison, Doucette made 17 saves for a 63%. That is a new WLL record. The Charm only shot 21% in this game. 21 of their 48 shots hit the pipe or missed the goal completely. Abby Bosco had 6 caused turnovers. Ashley Humphrey had 1 assist in this game, and that was it. The Charm went scoreless for more than 17 minutes. The New York Charging are who we thought they were. This week, I believe... Well, got to scroll forward because I wasn't going to talk about this yet, but I think they play the Palms. I'll find that when we get to it, but yeah, the Charging are pretty good at lacrosse.
We need some team balancing here. Another game where the team that has all the best numbers loses. I'm not sure why that is the trend this week, but the Charging are just the overwhelming favorite every single game they play.
I know.
I know they only won by 2, but it definitely just felt like outside of that first quarter, you're not doing anything to stop them. So,
yeah.
I mean, some great performances still, but it's just like there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, well, and the defense, as much as we talk about Izzy Skane and Emily Harris-Chuck and Erin Kuykendall, and rightfully so, like those girls are great. Madison Doucette and that defense, Madison Doucette reminds me of, like we talked about Brett Dobson in the NLL all year. Like when Madison Doucette is in your goal, you're always going to be in it. Always. So, as far as I'm concerned, she's the best goalie in the world. She's incredible. I'm a Palms fan, but I just don't know how the Charging are going to lose this championship this year. But I guess that's why we play the games, isn't it? What's this?
I guess I don't see them losing, but
yeah,
I suppose they put up 6 1/4, and that's all they needed. They literally just relaxed the rest of the game offensively.
Yeah,
they just matched Maryland, and it was like, yeah, we're good. We got it in already. We're fine. And I mean, they controlled the face-off, or what do they call it in women's? The draw or
the draw? Yeah.
So what do you call it? The draw circle, or can I still call it the dot?
Yeah, it's a draw circle.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's literally a draw because they have to the 2 people doing the draw are inside the circle, but then everyone else has to be outside of that circle. So so it's a draw circle.
I'm probably gonna just keep calling it face off because I'm gonna just completely forget. But regardless, they dominated at that front. Offensively, same thing. Defensively, same thing. I mean, Scales having 3 caused turnovers, excuse me, certainly helps. And over half their defense had a caused turnover at some point.
Yeah.
So, and again, it wasn't like Maryland was awful, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like they're you look at their team versus everyone else, and they just feel like they've already been playing together for years. And then you watch other teams, and you're like, oh, you guys clearly have not had enough time together. And how many was this their second game or was this their third game?
I feel like this was.
I can't click on their team.
No, it's their second. I think it's their second. I think everyone right now has played 2 games. I think.
Were they the team that had the month off?
Yes, the Charging played
That's
week
what it was.
one
Okay.
in Rhode Island, and
Yes.
then yeah,
They're 2-0. They're 2-0. So I mean, you look at California and Maryland are 1-1 with a 1 and -1 score differential respectively, and then Boston has -7. They lost Charlotte North. I don't see them having anywhere near as much success. Again, not that no one else can step up, but you lose your best player. That's pretty tough. But another good game. But yeah, I don't know. They're just, if you have any money that you can put down on Charging,
do it.
Go do it.
I have to imagine their odds weren't amazing even at the beginning of the season, but they certainly aren't great now.
No.
Like, jeez. But that is a good time, I guess, to move over to talking about the All-Star Game rosters. They dropped today. I'm gonna bait you into talking about this because I know you said you didn't want to, but you're gonna. Obviously, what is it that you wanted to say? Say what you wanted to say first, and then I'll bait you.
There's nothing I want to say. I said it last year. I think it's ridiculous that we vote for these things when there's like 2 games played.
Well, there was something that you wanted to say just to nip it all in the bud first.
I have no idea what you're talking about. It's just that we shouldn't be voting for these things. There's not enough games. First off, this game should be at the end of the season, between the end of the regular season or of the semifinals and the championship. 1. 2, we should not be voting on these things with 2 games played when players haven't even played a game, some of them. And that's all I'll say.
What you said you wanted to say was congratulations. That's all I was trying to
yeah.
say.
I mean, hey, congrats to everyone that made it. All right? It's better to be on the list than not on the list. But
so, now that you've said that, who's missing from this roster?
Oh, hold on. I need to pull some things up for that.
I had 3 that I thought were missing.
All right, go ahead. You name them, and I'll tell you if I agree.
One of them is insane that they're not
all right
listed. Look at the goalies in the West. Who's missing?
Talking about McNaney?
God, no. Your boy.
My boy?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Oh my God. I hope he hears that you don't even know who he is.
I mean, Dobson's there. Blaze is there.
And who's missing?
Oh, Dylan Ward? Oh, yeah.
Dylan Ward.
I mean,
Dylan Ward, who is tied with Brett Dobson for the lead in save percentage of starters. Nick Washuta is at 63%, but he hasn't started the game.
That's not surprising because it's a popularity contest.
Well,
think about it. When this opened, Dylan played what? 1 game? 2 games?
Okay, but we want to get into some other players who have 1 game under their belt and won.
But it doesn't matter. It's still a popularity thing. That's why I'm not surprised that he's not there. I'm still gonna argue he should be there. Don't get it twisted. But that's the other part of this is we're watching guys play 1 game, 2 games, maybe 3 if you vote at the last, and then all of a sudden it's they're all stars. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Two more that are missing. Mikey Bayman. I'm not even a Redwoods fan, and the 2 guys I've named are Redwoods. And then number 3, Mick Kelly.
That's a good one.
Here's my thing about Mick Kelly. If you don't think he should have been an All-Star, that's fine. But Matt Campbell is an All-Star, and Mick Kelly has twice as many points as Matt Campbell does in the same midfield. what are we doing?
Well, and I'm gonna have to do some quick searching on here. I love Jack Hanna. Everyone knows I love Jack Hanna. Why is he there over some of these other guys?
Yeah.
Again, this is not hate. I want to make that very clear. But, you know, it pains me, but I'm looking at this list and I'm like, I mean, Mick Kelly, Levi Anderson, who I think he did actually end up making it. Am I making that up in my head? I am making that up. He's not there. Wow.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
He's had a pretty good year. Sam King has had Brandau's had a pretty good year. Like, there's a lot of guys that I'm just like, that's why I'm saying I think it's more popularity than anything. Granted, by the time the game is played, if Jack goes off and has a great game this week, then maybe we're like, okay, it actually doesn't matter because, he's up there. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna come back to your other thing. I think there's an even better example of what we're talking about, and it's on the WLL side, and it's Ashley Humphrey. And I think there's two things I want to say. First and foremost, Ashley Humphrey, before this game started, was kind of an also-ran. She's a name, probably more so because she's Chloe's older sister, more so than what she herself did, which was great. She had a great college career, and I think, honestly, probably should have won the Tewaaraton last year. She deserved it. Chloe got it because of the name recognition. Whatever, that's fine. She's a great player in her own right. I don't mean to say that she was an afterthought because she wasn't a good player, because she is. I think we just didn't think of her because she's just Chloe's older sister to most of the uneducated audience, which, when it comes to women's lacrosse, is most of the audience, except for those that really follow it all the time. So the fact that she went from basically being, in a manner of speaking, at least in terms of her own play, kind of an unknown, to an all-star game captain in really a game, maybe two, depending on if you were one of those last-second voters who waited until the games were over this weekend to vote, but I don't think they really did that. I don't think there was that many of them. I think she deserves huge props for that and the season that she had. However, I think it just serves to simultaneously highlight the point that you were making, that we vote on this stuff way too early. We talk about it. The game is played entirely too early. Like you said, it should be at the end of the season. There's no way that we could vote on this already. Ashley Humphrey had 9 points in one game, 1 point in the second game. So, she's an all-star game captain because of one game. Now, it's the WLL, and I think they only play 4 or 5 games?
4.
Maybe 6? Is it 4? Oh, 4 is rough.
That's why even the All-Star for that is ridiculous to me. Because, first off, half the league's making it, quite literally, because there's 4 teams. So to fill them, you have half the league making it, and they played 2 games. At least with the PLL, by the time that game comes, they'll have been, 5 games, I think? Which is still not a great sample size, but...
I was going to say, it's not good enough for the PLL either. But at least if you did it at the end of the WLL season, you'd at least have the 4 games.
Yeah.
You could say, hey, we saw a whole season's worth. The season was only 4 games, but we can compare their 4 games against their 4 games and list out a roster. You're probably right that it's too many. It's too few teams, which means too many players make it. It was blowing my mind reading through that list. As good as the New York Charging are and as deserved as their all-stars are, it was blowing my mind to see so many baby blue uniforms on these rosters and being like, holy crap.
I'm honestly kind of surprised they aren't just doing like a sixes game for them. Because 18 players per team, that's 36 players total. I mean...
Yeah. I mean,
again, this is an overarching issue
teams
that I've had for... even before the WL existed. That it's just... so many people make it off of, like you're saying, one game, basically. You know, and like...
Yeah.
You have, like, especially like you're saying with the casual women's fans, like, you're going to just look at the stats and be like, oh, she has 10 points? She's second in the league or whatever it is? Like, fine by me. And, like, yeah, she went crazy in the one game. But it is just kind of like, so did Brian Kelly. You know, so did whoever else. And it's like, okay, at what point do we say, hey, the number is there, but what we're seeing on the field isn't actually there? And this isn't hating on anyone that made the All-Star team, but I think All-Stars are kind of dumb in pretty much every sport because I think it's all, you know, just based on popularity. I think it's very little of it's actually based on play, unfortunately. But
and I was thinking earlier today when the rosters dropped, the PLL made it a point in every single post and every single thing about it, made it a point to say voted by the fans.
Yep.
And all I could think was, maybe it shouldn't be, or maybe it should be some combination. Like, not that a fan vote shouldn't take place, but it should probably be more than that because it is such a popularity contest. Trevor Baptiste is a face-off all-star for this game. Admittedly, he may not play. I don't know when they'll make a decision on that. Again, I don't know how bad his injury from USA camp was, but as of right now, he is a face-off specialist all-star for 2 games. He hasn't even played half of his team's games, and he's an all-star. Why?
Yep.
You know?
I'm telling you, I really hope the PLL listens to me on this because I've been saying it for a while, that just put at the end of the year, just like the NFL does it, where you're going to take a bye week off anyway from the semis to the championship. Put something there so the fans are still plugged in to the league, so that way it's not just like, oh, we forgot about it and then we're back to the championship. Like, they have something the entire time. You have a full 12 games now to evaluate, and oh, this guy missed 2 games, but he still put up this amount of points versus he missed 2 games out of 4. That's a bigger deal right now. You know, I just think that's the better way to go about it for both leagues, WLL and PLL.
Yeah. You know what's funny? You know what's funny about face-off specialists? Trevor Baptiste has played 2 games. You know who else has played 2 games at the face-off dot? Andrew McMeekin. Andrew McMeekin is 5%, not a small amount, 5% better than Trevor Baptiste this season, both having played the same number of games. Andrew McMeekin is not an all-star. Trevor Baptiste is.
Well, and again, like, obviously the numbers aren't everything, but he's also won 3 more face-offs. He's lost 2 fewer face-offs. So that's where it's like, we're voting so early that now a guy like McMeekin literally cannot make it. Yeah. But now this guy that's injured, so now he's probably not going to play, to your credit. So he's going to have to be replaced. So now even more players technically make an all-star. And the problem I have with this, too, is like people will then use these types of accolades to argue status after these players' careers are done. And granted, those conversations are stupid. They are unfair. And that's why I kind of discredit if you're using all-stars in any sport. But, like, people still do it. And all of a sudden now this guy can't have it. Like, this could... Imagine if McMeekin made the all-star team. Could that help him in, like, a Rookie of the Year race later on down the line, that now people are looking back and being like, well, but he wasn't an all-star, and you know what I'm saying? Like, that stuff carries weight, and it's just...
Yeah.
I just wish they would listen to the people saying this, because I'm not the only one. We've said it for multiple years now. We need more time to really evaluate who's an all-star and who is the best in the league.
Yeah, well, and to your point, whether you think not you, but like whether someone thinks it's stupid or not, you're right. These things get used as status and at some level of gameplay, and I don't know that lacrosse is there yet, but if you're an NBA All-Star, that's a bargaining chip in your contract.
Yep.
Now, again, lacrosse probably isn't at that level yet, but we all hope that it gets there at some point. So, like, these things aren't completely irrelevant, even if you are someone who thinks that they're stupid. We just had the Hall of Fame this weekend. How many times did we talk about so-and-so was X number All-Star?
Yep.
It's not a nothing thing. You know, people
and
can dismiss it if they want.
People, when it comes to Hall of Fame stuff, that are just going to say, well, he wasn't even an All-Star for however many seasons. And it's like, okay, but he probably should have been. And then you get, oh, you're just coping because you want your guy. It's like, no, he has better numbers. He was more available, whoever it was, like all these different things. But sorry that we have it set up this way. You literally can't. And I also think, too, like we've seen this in the past where rookies can't make it. Because if you have a visa issue, if you're Canadian, you're not making the All-Star team, pretty much. Like you literally can't even be here long enough to be qualified for it. And then you find out, like, Owen Hiltz is a perfect example of this, where he had such a good second half of that season when he was able to play. He should and would have been an All-Star if he didn't have the visa stuff, but because he did, he couldn't make it, and now he's going to get knocked for that.
Yep. Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. We got who was it? There's three guys. There's Ty English,
Silas Richmond,
and the dude from
Finn Thompson,
Hopkins.
I believe. Isn't Finn Thompson still? Oh, Matt Collison.
Then there's four. Matt Collison, yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. So yeah, I mean that's four dudes right there that, especially Finn Thompson, Silas Richmond, those two dudes. Well, I guess it depends on whether or not Silas Richmond can get on the field with that Water Dogs offense, but those are dudes who can be difference makers. They can be the Owen Hiltz this year. They can get, in a rhythm and take off, and they won't be all-stars. Even though their play this year would have demanded it, and if we had been able to see their season unfold before trying to name all-stars. And because of that, I can't even fault people for it being a popularity contest because they haven't been able to see anyone play.
Yep.
Like, who's the face-off guy when voting open? Well, face-off's probably a bad comparison because Trevor Baptiste didn't start playing for a few weeks. But we started voting for All-Stars after what, week 2, right? Something like that. Was when we were doing the helmet hunt.
It was helmet hunt.
2.
Yeah.
So who could be evaluated after 2 weeks? I can almost guarantee you Asher Nolting is probably an all-star this year. They probably removed him because he's not on the team. But because of when voting opened, I can almost guarantee you Asher Nolting was an all-star.
Honestly, it wouldn't shock me if enough people were just like, I want to see my guy be an all-star.
Well, and think about it. If think about how many people probably voted during helmet hunt. And so Boston has played 2 games. Asher played 1, had 2 points. Coming off of the seasons that he's had, he's the star on that team. He's played 1 game that he had 2 points, and a second game where we were told he was hurt. Why wouldn't you vote for him?
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's probably not the only one in that situation. Well, maybe he is just because no one's getting dropped. But he's probably the only one in that specific situation. He's probably not the only one that was voted in week 2 based off of their name and the assumption that by the All-Star game, they would be, who they usually are.
Yeah. I don't know.
Speaking of listing out All-Stars, we've already talked about Asher Nolting. We don't need to beat that horse any longer, but 4-time All-Star, 2-time first All-Pro in 4 years.
Not good enough, apparently.
MVP finalist and 2-time Attackman of the Year finalist. It's fine. No big deal. But it does say 4-time All-Star. That's pretty funny. One more thing before we move on from Boston. We didn't talk about it. I wanted to say Brian Kelly seems to have kind of tapered off as people have gotten tape on him. I don't know if this will happen. We did not mention Jack Regneri, who I thought looked great. He was like the one thing watching that Boston team play where I was like, oh, okay, if he can play like this, because obviously we saw Brian Kelly do this at the beginning of the year as well, and has kind of tapered off. If he can continue to play like that, he's electric. His shot is so fast. He gets it. He with like very little pullback at all. He just releases that thing, and it is on. I think I saw him hit the pipe like 3 times, but it was hitting the pipe. It felt like he reared back, and it was hitting the pipe already. I was like, what in the world? There was so much power, and I really feel like if they can get him and Mikey Weissar like moving at the all on the same page, like they could have something, but it's Boston. Who knows what's going on with them.
They're just trying stuff, seeing what works.
Yeah, they're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. Yeah, I agree, but
to me it feels like this year there's like a few like real going for it contenders, and there's just a few that are like we're just gonna take the year. If it works out and we're contending, awesome. If not, that's fine, and we'll just go into next year with like hopefully a clear plan. Like that's And I'm not knocking those teams for trying it. Like you gotta do what you gotta do, but it is kind of funny when you're like, okay, this team's probably a contender, that team's probably a contender. You 4 right here, I don't know if you're playing serious right now or if we're just like messing around.
Who are the teams you have as a contender right now?
I think it's probably California, Denver. Yikes, that's tough. It might just be those 2 right now.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
I think there's a couple that I'm willing to like to maybe take a flyer on. Like I could see Philly, but I need to see a little bit more. New York again. If they go on that run that like we were talking about earlier, like I could definitely see that, but they don't look that team right now. And kind of the same with Carolina, where I'm like, there's flashes that they look dangerous, and then there's times that it's like, oh, okay, like you couldn't get anything going. So that's tough, but.
It's so hard to differentiate them because I agree with you. I think Denver and California look like teams that could win it all. Atlas doesn't, but also their roster is just so good. Like, if it clicks at any point, like watch out.
Yeah.
I feel like the Water Dogs are probably the same in the same boat of like. They don't really look like a contender, but if they figure it out, like holy crap, that team is so loaded. And then there's like, I'd probably put Maryland and Carolina together. Of like, there's something there. There's some flashes, but like, I don't know. And then Utah, Boston. Is that it? Who I'm missing somebody?
No, that's all of them.
Okay, Utah and Boston are just
like Utah's the only team out of those 2 that like I could see them just like making upsets throughout the year, like they did week 1 and like that type of thing. But I still just don't see the full vision with the roster set up the way it currently is. You know, if they make a move for an Asher or someone else, maybe that changes. But right now, I just, you know, and for sure though, Boston's at that bottom. Unfortunately, they're just.
So, the next question for you is: those two teams are at the bottom, and it's a little bit of an unfair question because I don't know that the PLL really likes to fire people, generally speaking. But whose seat is hotter?
Between who?
Utah and
Holman
Boston.
and Bates?
Yeah.
Holman's is way hotter. Way hotter.
Why?
Because it's a buildup of things. Bates has how many championships in the last 3 years?
In the last 3 years?
4 years, whatever
right?
It was.
Yeah, four. I think it's 2.
But they've been to. Did they go to 2 or did they go to 3? They went to 3, I think, because they lost to Philly. Did they not? Or am I making that up?
Yeah, I think they lost 1, then won 2. Yeah.
I mean, he already has it in his back pocket, and I think you look at some of the things that occurred on his team. Like Hosek was leaving. You can't, you're not going to stop that. He's had injury problems with Schreiber, Ament, Matt Moore, so he's had to reinvent his team, and we'll see if the way he's going about it works. But right now, I don't think he's on the hot seat. Whereas Holman is like, you trade Pat Cav, you have a bad year last year. Now you come back this year, having another bad year. You cut Asher, so the trade was basically for nothing.
Okay. Hear you. 2 things. Just playing devil's advocate here. Because I'm not even saying that you're wrong. But alternate point of view. 1, how long does Chris Bates get to rest on the championships he won 2 years ago? And I'm not saying 2 years is the limit of that. I'm just saying, like, at some point, he's got to do something. Then simultaneously, I would say that was a championship team 2 years ago. And now they are, in back-to-back seasons, the worst team in the league, or bottom 2, I guess you could say. Whereas the Cannons have never been a very good team. In the entire PLL run, the Cannons have never been a very good team. Not necessarily because of the roster, but
they've also had very good rosters and have done nothing with it.
Sure. So
I think too, like Bates, I get what you're saying about that, but at the same time, the only thing that I think you can knock him for is like maybe he tried to do like the quote unquote rebuild a tad late. Like as his guys got up there in age, and it was clear that there's health concerns even with the guys that aren't older. He probably should have tried to mix in some younger talent there just to make sure you have that safety net. So by the time you transition, it's already done. Whereas now it feels like, oh shoot, Schreiber's not here, Grant's not here, Matt Moore's not here. Now we're like just scattered and we're just trying different things.
But Schreiber's not here, Matt Moore's hurt, Grant Amon's hurt, and we drafted Aiden McGuire.
Believe me.
Overall.
That's a different conversation. All right, we've already had that conversation. I'm willing to see it through for Bates' purpose, but
come on.
Believe me, we have already had that discussion.
Aiden McGuire guy, not a number 1 pick. Not a number 1 pick.
Look, I said Spallina should go 1. Put that's on the record already. So I get that. My point though being is I still think I don't necessarily think PLL, like you said, wants to fire anybody, and I don't think they ultimately will. If they were to, though, I still think it's Holman. Just, I feel like they've had some really good rosters that have just done absolutely nothing, winning-wise. And this year's another example of just nothing works.
Serious question. I'm not even playing devil's advocate. I'm seriously asking. What's the best roster that Brian Holman has had?
Is there a website I can pull them up to compare?
I don't know.
Obviously we're talking about one of the rosters with Asher on it.
Because with who?
With Asher on it.
Well, yeah. Because this is why I'm asking. Because when he took over that team, no goalie, no defense, not really much of a midfield either. They basically had Asher. I think they had Lyle on the books when he took over, but that was the year that he left. So he's never really had Lyle. So he had Asher, Marcus. I don't even know if Matt Campbell was on the roster before he got there. They probably had Jeff Traynor, maybe. No, because Traynor was with the Archers, wasn't he?
I think so. I can't find like a full list, but I'm looking at some of these names that they had. Because obviously they got Kirsten 22. That's when they got Asher and Bubba Fairman. 23, they got Matt Campbell.
Was he the coach in 22?
Might have been 23.
No, you know what? Is Marcus Holman on that team? On the 22 team?
This is just draft picks, so I can't even tell you that.
Oh.
Their Wikipedia does not have a full list, but that doesn't sound right, though.
I think we need...
Let me see if I can find when he was hired on February 6th, 2023. So 23 was the first... So he would have drafted Matt Campbell.
Oh, the stupid PLL stats page.
At least according to
that. When you go to different seasons, it doesn't update the players on the... Their stats page is a mess.
I mean, let's see.
So 23 would have been his first season.
Yeah, and then Marcus joined the Cannons in 23.
Yeah.
So this is his fourth season as a Cannon.
Yeah.
So he drafted Matt Campbell. So at this point on the roster, he has Asher, Marcus, Campbell, Colin Kirst, Jack Keelty, I think was still healthy. Bubba Fairman, I don't fully remember. He then drafts Pat Kavanaugh in 24. Last year, he had Mackesy to that mix as well, minus Pat Kavanaugh. But he also had Mick Kelly. He had Ben Ramsey. So I would probably lean 24, even if you have to run Pat Cav out of the box. But
right. But I'm saying that's the best team he had, and that's the year they were. 1 second. They were like second in the league, weren't they?
They
were second in the league that year.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm saying, like, the one time that he's arguably had like his best roster, they were the second best team in the league.
Sure, but there wasn't much change after that. That it shouldn't have dropped off that bad. Is more my point. Like, and again, it's not even just the winning and losing. It's you literally said we're going to trade this guy who we just watched have a stellar college career because we need to keep this guy, and then you don't even give him. He has an MVP year, and you cut him the next one game into the next season.
Yeah, which we've talked about was
at
dumb.
that point it's like. If we're comparing hot seats, it's like.
But listen,
at least Bates is just getting killed because his team's just injured.
Well, I don't think that it is just that his team is injured. Like,
hey, you go off on that one. I really think if he had his team healthy, the Archers would be much better than they are.
Dude, there is a reason why we say Bates gone Bates. There's a reason. Admittedly, look, he had that run where he didn't Bates much thing.
If he had Schreiber, if he had Grant, if he had Trey LeClaire outside of when he was at the NLL and he had him the first couple weeks, I guarantee you they're a better team than what it looks like right now, as opposed to the Boston Cannons.
I'm sorry, but didn't they have those players last year?
I don't remember when all of them got hurt, so no.
I thought Tom got hurt in Utah, like towards the end of the season.
He did. That was week 9. I do remember that, actually.
Yeah, so they had...
Okay, there's one.
Matt Moore, I think, was...
Matt Moore's been out for a million games.
But
at
I
this
think
point.
he played... he played 4. He played 4 games last year.
I'm checking Grant Ament right now.
Ament played last year.
He played 8 games last year out of 10.
Yeah, so I mean he had those guys last year and they weren't very good.
Let's see.
This is a totally random side
Trey
note.
Leclerc, only 5 games last year.
How many has he played this year?
3. Because he missed. I think he missed the first 2 with NLL playoffs. Ambler played 9. Who else would be on that team last year? And this is just offense too. It's not even Sam King.
Yeah, I mean,
guess.
If you think about it, they had Hasek last year. They had,
Sam King played 10 games last year. Holy cow!
Yeah, he played in every game
either which
last year.
way. I'll chalk that up to it was a down year. I still think you give them those dudes this year, and they're better than Boston is.
Well, I would freaking hope so.
They're 2-3 this year right now.
If you get Grant Ament, Tom Schreiber, if you get all of these all pros back and you're not better, we have a real problem.
That's what I'm saying. That's why his seat's not hot, is because those dudes are literally injured. They're not available.
Which is why I said last year he had those guys and they weren't better. They were the worst team in the league last year.
That's one time, though. He came off back-to-back championship wins with those guys. So you can't use one down year to say, oh, well, look, he's on the hot seat.
No, that's not what I said. What I'm saying is you can't just say that it was only this year and it's only because those dudes are missing, because he had those dudes last year and they weren't good.
Sure, but they've had how much time off now to get healthy? To where they're going to be better, closer to 100%?
You know what? We also
if you
forgot
have those guys,
Bill
the
Tierney
Aiden McGuire
in this.
pick is way better. But because you don't have those guys, it's even worse.
It is not way better.
It's way
not
better.
way better.
It's not good, but it's way better.
It is not way better.
It's way better.
No.
It goes from here
No.
to here.
Which is not way better. That's what I'm saying.
That's way better. That's way better right there. Now, you see this? Spallina. But, right here. I'm just saying, if we're picking out of the two, Brian Holman's seat is way hotter than Bates. By a country mile.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm not saying you're right either.
I mean, we watched them blow, what was it, an 8-goal lead at halftime last year? Or something like that as well. What did they finish the season as? Look, the players got to put the ball in the back of the net, but the coach has to, do some things.
They were tied last year, weren't they? I think they were both 4 and something.
They were 4-6 last year, -11 score differential.
But they both were. They both were 4 and 6. The Archers were
Philly
minus
was
13.
tied. And then, yes.
Oh my God. Philly and Maryland were tied, yeah.
Also, this is just helping my Brett Dobson MVP case, by the way. But, I'm just saying, there's nothing you can say to me that's going to put Bates hotter than Holman right now. It could change.
Like I said, the reason I even asked the question is because I think neither seat is hot and both seats are hot.
Yeah. Also, don't ever bring up tyranny in these conversations, all right? He's off limits. His seat's never hot.
I mean,
unless he
you
wants
want to talk about a dude that's not doing much with a whole
That's
lot.
a 7-time national champion right there, right?
And how much are those NCAA championships helping him out right now?
Great. His hands are probably heavy, all the rings, but
Also, I'm glad that we're talking about coaches, because one thing I forgot to mention when talking about the All-Star games, the East head coach is Mike Pressler. Again, go back to when most of these people voted before this weekend. Why is Mike Pressler the head coach? He may end up having a fantastic season. The Atlas win it again, and he will have deserved to have been the head coach this year. But they were what,
right
one
there.
in. They were what, 1-2 prior to this weekend? Is that right?
Yeah.
And even this weekend, I don't think they looked great. They won both games, but like they didn't look great doing it. I don't know.
Honestly, it should have been Staggs and probably Anthony Kelly, or even Stephen Brooks. Yeah. I'd be fine with that. No shot at Sudan.
I'd be fine with any of those.
I just think the Outlaws have underperformed due to their standards. Through 4 games.
Yeah.
I know they've dealt with a couple injuries and whatnot, but like to me, I'm looking at the Redwoods like, okay, they started out with no Chris Cav, no Ryder. Their defense has had some injuries here and there. A Dylan Ward who hasn't played field consistently in a couple of seasons, basically, and he's playing well. So I'm kind of surprised that Kelly didn't get the nod either. But
yeah,
who knows?
It should have been Staggs, and I think Staggs and Kelly. If you want to throw Brooks in there, I'm okay with that. But I'd say Staggs and Kelly for sure. I don't know how we got to Mike Pressler. That one threw me for a loop. But let's move on to this coming weekend and the games in San Diego. We have the Maryland Whipsnakes taking on the Denver Outlaws, the Boston Cannons playing the California Redwoods, the Water Dogs taking on the Archers, and the Chaos rounding out the PLL weekend against the Redwoods. Any of these games popping out at you?
Yeah. That first one.
Yeah.
That's at noon our time. That's gonna suck. I'm literally busy during that time, actually, now that I think about it. That sucks. Okay. Anyway.
Stop being busy on the weekends.
It's not possible. Sorry. Other than that, Charging are going to win. Doesn't matter. Woods Chaos could be fun.
Those are the 2 games I have.
That's pretty much it. Oh,
Whips Outlaws.
We didn't talk about Zed Williams retiring, did we, from the PLL?
Oh, no, you're right. We didn't.
So, just a quick nod to that. That sucks to hear, but, hope he's having fun up north, I guess. And it's not MSL for people that are going to be like, I hate summer box. It's not MSL. Apparently, he just was reserved about running out of the box with the injury. And then he was on a team that literally was not really offensive friendly to his game. And so it was like, well... but yeah, just congrats to him on that.
Could have gone to Carolina.
He could have gone to Utah. I've been trying to say, man, get him to Utah. I'm so mad that never happened too, because I remember when he got traded to Philly, and I was like, oh, I was right about a trade, just the wrong team. But yeah, those are the 2 games I'm looking at. We'll see if California can go 2-0. I think Chaos might get the best from that second game, but we'll see.
You know what's going to happen? We spent all this episode talking about the Boston Cannons and how bad they suck, and they're going to blow out the Redwoods.
Yeah.
It's just gonna happen that way. But
that's fine.
Yeah,
prove us wrong. That's fine.
That's fair. I'm fine if you want to.
You have a Hall of Famer on that team, on that offense. You should be doing better.
I hope Brian Holman heard all that shit you were talking.
He would probably agree with me. He'd probably be like, you know what, you were. That's fair. And then he'd start scoring a bunch of goals and start cussing on the sidelines all of a sudden. And then he'd come back and be polite again and be like, shake my hand, and then
Yeah. Well, and then the Chaos Redwoods is going to be a big game for the Western Conference in terms of who makes it from that side. So, I mean, I want to see the Water Dogs. I want to see how they do, but beating the Archers means nothing. The Archers beating them doesn't mean a whole lot to me either. I feel like Water Dogs are a mess of a team anyway. Like, they got so many good players that it doesn't make sense how they're not any better than they are.
Yeah.
And then you kind of mentioned it briefly. The WLL game sees the New York Charging taking on the California Palms. You said the Charging were going to win.
Oh boy.
I'm going to take the Palms.
Not biased at all, huh?
No, not biased at all. There's no bias there. That's just pure analytics.
I don't know what type of skewed analytics you got, but the ones I have.
You know what analytics I have? Ali Mastroeni. That's all I need.
Yeah, the ones I have say 1-1.
Yeah, and the one
also this gonna be the Charging's third game, all before All-Star break.
Yeah,
75% of their season's done after this week.
Yeah, they're not gonna play for another month. It's great. I love this schedule. It's so fun. Do we want to talk about the? No, we probably don't. No, we decided we don't. We'll hold it. We'll hold it for later. We'll talk about it later. Did the am I wrong, or did these two teams play before?
Who?
The Charging and the Palms.
Gonna make me look.
I kind of felt like it was. I'm pulling it up. I wasn't prepared to ask this question, and now
no. The Palms played Boston and Maryland, so no.
Maryland. Okay. So they lost to Maryland, and then they beat. Well, they beat Boston in the game that Charlotte North went down in, and so it's kind of like, whatever. Palms. Taking the Palms. I don't care. I don't care what you say.
Okay.
Why? Why are you hating?
I'll be shocked. I'm not gonna be mad, but I'll be shocked.
Listen.
Charging or doing what their name suggests. That's all I'm saying.
They are charging.
They are charging.
I'm not sure if that's a battery reference or like a bull running reference.
I don't know. I can't believe they're not like the Charge. Why are they the Charging?
I got no idea on that one. No idea. It doesn't make sense, but whatever.
But they're doing it.
Last little thing. The PLL Hall of Fame was this weekend. Had a class of Greg Gorenlian, who I have interviewed on this podcast, Drew Adams, Brody Merrill, your boy, Brody Merrill, and Joe Tsai. I was wondering, because we never really talked about it, I was wondering what you thought about the whole like contributor element of the Hall of Fame.
You mean like with Joe Tsai?
Yeah, they like created the class contributor, and he's the first.
I'm fine with it. I think you have to be careful with like what how far you're going, but like people were mad because you're congratulating a rich guy for just giving you money, and it's like, but it's not like he's just blank writing a check and just being like la la la, it's an investment. Like Joe Tsai's like involved with the PLL, he's involved with the NLL, multiple teams. Like it's not like he's just I'm just doing this as an investment. I'm sure he does use it as an investment. He's involved
with NCAA too.
NCAA, I mean, he built the whole thing at Yale, if I'm not mistaken. Like, so when people are trying to be like, "You're just congratulating a rich guy," I'm like, I mean, I guess, but not. That's not like the entire story. You're kind of ignoring a lot of the nuance of that. But I'm fine with it.
Also, not for nothing, it takes rich guys. Like, let's be real. It takes a rich guy willing
everyone
to
loves
open
to
his
talk about
checkbook.
How player salaries are going up, but they don't actually want to talk about how it's happening. And the thing is, if it was truly them saying, "Hey, we're going to honor this random person that just wrote a check and we've never seen him again," that's when I'd be like, okay, yes, they contributed, but like there's a ton of investors. Like, let's not go down that route. But when there's someone who's like actually trying to grow the game and make it more accessible and all these different things and get it seen on TV, and I mean, the dude funded a third NLL franchise this year just to make sure that everything was going smoothly. He doesn't have to do that. He could have just been like, no. And I recognize this is a separate thing,
yeah. And as part of his Hall of Fame induction, they specifically talked about his work with the Seals and the Desert Dogs. And so, like, it wasn't just, oh, he's given the PLL some money. It's like, no, he's a big reason why there is professional lacrosse, period. Doesn't matter what version you're playing, what level you're playing. Like, he is a reason that lacrosse is what it is in this country at all. So, yeah, I'm with you. I thought it was a little silly that the like pushback that people were trying to give them for putting him in. And
it's also just funny because, like, when would you even do that? Like, he's not someone that can just, like, retire like a player can.
Right.
So, like, who cares? It's not like he got the gold jacket and now he's just going to be like, peace out. I got what I'm here for. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you might as well give the man his flowers while he's here. And,
well, it's not like the FIFA Peace Prize either. Like, this thing that they invented solely to pat him on the back.
Right.
Like, no, like, this is a thing that exists. And pretty much every other Hall of Fame inputs people that aren't, it's not solely players, you know, owners and coaches and all kinds of people get put in there. So, like, yeah, it's fine.
It only gets bad if it's, you know, gets off the rails where it's like we're just putting anybody in just because. But
yeah,
I don't think it's going to happen. It hasn't happened yet.
No.
Like,
if Logan Paul gets put in the Hall of Fame, we can complain about it. But
you don't think he should be in the WWE Hall of Fame?
No.
Why? He's like
he's pretty.
Top tier WWE wrestler right here.
He is a shockingly good wrestler.
Wow.
Yeah, way better than he has any business being, but not a Hall of Famer. No.
Wow. We'll mark him down as a contributor for now.
All right, that is going to do it for this week's episode. Brandon, before we get out of here, man, what you got going on this week?
Got a card show Saturday. Just a short. I'm only going for a couple hours. Got some family in town, so we're gonna go to that. But then I have a wedding.
Couple hours.
Well, you know, usually I go for like the whole day, but I don't have time. I got a wedding reception thing to go to Saturday, so that's gonna cut that short. And then I'm out next week because I'm doing a 3-day softball. Part of it's a tournament, but it's a softball event. We'll call it just a bunch of different stuff. Teams getting new gear and showing it off and stuff like that. So that's gonna take up a good amount of my time, you know, Saturday through Tuesday, including there's one day that I believe is going to be like a 12-hour day, all said and done. So not looking forward to that, but that's a lie. I am looking forward to it, but I'm not looking forward to the 12 hours. So we'll see. I'm hoping I can still watch these games.
I just want to applaud you for actually remembering to like announce something before it happened. Like, we didn't, like, when we took last week off, we didn't do it until after we recorded the show.
Yeah.
And we were like, there's no games. There's nothing for us to talk about. We probably shouldn't do an episode. I feel
they should just know if there's no games, we're probably not recording.
I just feel like it's a roll of dice. Like, the fans listen on Wednesday, and it's just a roll of dice of whether there's an episode that drops or not.
Yeah, but now they know. I will not be here next week. I'm hoping to still be able to watch. I'll at least have the game on my phone at the card show to kind of monitor and stuff like that. But these shows only come once every couple of months, so I got to get it in when I can.
Yeah,
I'm hoping there's some PLL stuff there. There was a kid last time that he brought his whole binder. He had a Jake Piscino jersey on. It was pretty sweet. I talked to him because he was trying to sell some stuff, and I was like, "Yo, I need to see your binder. Open that thing up."
I need to see what you got.
Yeah, it was cool.
One last little shopkeeping note. I'm going to try to have somebody on the show. I was going to reach out today to some people, and I just haven't had a chance yet. So I'm going to try to have someone on. So there should hopefully still be an episode next week. It just won't have Brandon on it. Who knows? Maybe it'll just be me rambling into a microphone again, like the good old days, I guess. But with all of that being said, that is going to do it for us this week. If you enjoyed this episode, the Lax Lifers Club is where our community lives between episodes. It's a Discord for the fans watching lacrosse year around, not just during the All-Star game, aka a lifer. The link to join us is in the description. Across social media, you can find me at I am Neil Barrett and Brandon at Hoot Sports Media. If you haven't yet, rate and review the show on whatever platform you are listening on. It takes about 30 seconds and it genuinely helps people find us. We will be back until next... Why can't I even read these things? I'm literally reading it and I can't do it. We'll be back next week. So until then, as always, we'll catch you guys in the comments.